She was the daughter of a chief, and the chief had many, many wives. She was born with several deformities, and the chief did not think that she was worthy of living, just living. She was his daughter, and she certainly didn't look like the daughter of the chief, so he was going to have kids. There was a group from, a missionary group from Decatur, who took her in. She was the nurse and the playmate of the children, and when they came back to Decatur, they brought her with them. And they take her to prayer meetings and everything, and don't put your eye out. They take her to prayer meetings. She was very much loved, and she was really more loved here than she would have been as she stayed in Africa. 1920 was probably another pandemic, some sort of a flu that went through, and besides the fact that she was deformed, we think that could have contributed to that. But this 1920 is about the time that the Ku Klux Klan started coming back again. Of course, the Klan came about after the war to frighten African Americans into not exercising their newfound rights. Well, by the time we got to the 1920s and 30s, it was pretty much a group that was against anything that wasn't like them. And so, having this to say, our little black cow of the white soul makes her just come alive. She was so loved. This is the black section, that is the white section over there. It's as close as they can possibly go. There is a woman that lives in the housing project behind Decatur Police Department that moved down here from New York several years ago. She had a daughter that was a young teen, about the same age as the Puma, that had died. And so she comes over and moves things on her grave every so often, just so she doesn't around it. That is from called the Marble Hill Sunday School, and we owned a lot, and probably from the Methodist Children's Home was a little one. They have names, but some of them died a lot together. So here we are. They probably died of things that everybody here got shot for when they were there. And they took an amount of money to the Decatur Female Seminary, and it became
Agnes Scott.
Amen. But he was also the hero of the Battle of Biloxi in Florida during the war. He ran for the governor of Florida on the Democratic ticket and lost. He would have been the first governor of Florida right after the war. But when you think about Scott, you think about Scott. When you think about Scott, you think about Agnes Scott. He was also instrumental in what today we think about Scott fertilizer. That came from some of the property that he owned. This, the well house, was the chair of the building committee for the well house. They dug the well, built the gazebo, and that was in 1881, and I believe it was for $120. Wow. So, and this was the place where I've talked to a lot of people in the days before you could get on the bus and go everywhere. This is where people would actually come and spend the afternoon. I tell kids about going to the mall on Sunday afternoon, except your parents might have been around watching this. But just come out here and sit, and it's pleasant, cool, and it's great. Thomas Hawley Shivers, that's Decatur's forgotten poet. It's been said that he did what Poe did with genius. He did with not so much. I'll read it. He was not initially buried here. He was buried in the front lawn of his house, which was Villa Allegro, which was across the street where Avery Glenn's apartments on the other side of the railroad, I should say. But he wanted to be buried in the front yard of his house, so his wife was helped. She moved on, and he just moved here. But he was a medical doctor by training. He was born in Washington, Georgia. He just had the heart of a poet. He did not have did not really want to practice medicine. So he corresponded with Poe. He did some writing. He and Poe had a running feud over the authorship of the Reagan. They both said that the other was the one who had stolen that. He died in December of 1852. And his stone, which we cannot see now, Franklin Garrett, was Atlanta's premier historian, came through here in the 1930s and wrote down a lot of inscriptions that today are totally illegible because of the letter. But his inscription reads, "Here lie the remains of Thomas H. Shivers, M.D. Of his excellence as a lyric poet, his works will remain a monument for the ages after this temporary trip of love is industrious. This soul winged its flight heavenward," and then fill in the blank. He wrote it himself. He wanted to be sure he got what he wanted. But he died in 1858. He was 52. Poe described him as one of the best and one of the worst poets in America. I'm going to read you one verse. Lily Adair. On the burl-rimmed rebecks of Ruby, brought fresh from the Highland stream, she played on the banks of the Yuba such songs as she heard in the breeze. Like the heavens when the stars from their eyries look down through the even night air, where the groves of the Usantic fairies lit up by my Lily Adair. My childlike Lily Adair, my heaven-born Lily Adair, for my beautiful Lily Adair. Does anybody know the poem Annabel Lee?